and welcome everyone to the penultimate final episode, hopefully, Lord willing, of
technically ultimate. Penultimate is second to last.
Whatever. Maybe it will be. You never know. The final episode of the Lunar Eclipse, the first campaign in our Amnesia system here. Last episode was a bit of a doozy. A bit of combat that sort of went on. Wasn't going extremely well for the party, and some of the party, well, a particular member of the party decided to take it upon himself, and accidentally also another member of the party to sacrifice themselves and take out the Lyra. So we are down a couple members today, as you can see, but there's still work to be done. So Stephen, why don't you take us in?
All right. You are all standing in the control room, eerily quiet as the air in the room had been evacuated when Iggy broke out broke the window to the void outside. All of you either probably staring into the crater on the ground or trying to avoid looking at it. You would notice that there is a glint of silver on the edge of the crater. Upon closer inspection, it appears that Naka's ferroblade is lying there, apparently having rolled just outside the radius.
Forgive me, we were already running through the door.
You were running towards the door.
Okay.
Technically where we left off, like, you and Vidar were like at the back of the room essentially. I think everyone was moving in that direction though.
Okay. We it's shining, so it's all caught our eyes. Basically, as we're running.
Glinting off the light.
Glinting. Is anyone running to grab it? If I see no one move towards it, I think Yorfir would pause and probably go back for it. I feel like early on in their meetup, Naka and him had like a slight bond together, like remembering the night in the tent with Iggy and the almost explosion of all of us and Naka like cooling that whole situation down. I think Yorfir may move to grab that.
Okay. You take a small detour and run over to where the ferroblade is lying on the ground and scoop it up and continue your dash towards the door. As you are all running towards the door, however, you realize the light that was glinting off of the ferroblade is growing and casting your shadows on the wall in front of you in a harsh white light. And as you glance back, you see the laser chamber behind you through the window growing brighter and brighter as you move.
Okay. Oh.
How big is the laser chamber?
big.
It's
Planet
really big.
This big. Miles.
Yeah.
It's the hole
The whole
in the
like,
side
crater.
of the inside in the side of the moon. Yep.
Were there any on our like way in? Were there any signs? And I don't remember from you guys about this, but were there like blast doors that would close up over that to conceal the laser chamber?
You did not see anything like that.
Okay.
As we're walking or running, I would probably catch up to Alora and hand her the Thalia's tiara. I think this should belong to you.
Thank you. I was going to take it from you otherwise, and I'll take it out of his hands.
Oh my gosh.
Thalira, as soon as you, or Thalira,
Alora.
I apologize, Alora, as soon as you make that little quip and go to grab the crown, Vidar, you watch Alora crumple to the ground, just straight unconscious.
Oh,
Gosh. Okay.
that's great. So she has a beard of feathers and is unconscious. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I already sneezed. Thank you.
All right, so she's down to the ground.
Alora, you find yourself in a vast black void, the emptiness stretching out infinitely in all directions. Above you, the moon moves slowly, eclipsing the sun blazing behind it. A feminine figure stands before it, its silhouette soothing and commanding. Wordlessly, gracefully, intentionally, it moves towards you and leans down before reaching out to embrace you. In an ethereal voice that radiates through your body, you hear it speak. My faithful, my beloved, my daughter, do not fear the darkest night. It is the only time they can see us shine. At the same time, a blast of moonlight radiates out from the moon above you and slams into your body, which immediately rips you back to consciousness. And Vidar, as soon as she hits the ground and you go to like catch her and start calling people over, Alora, you erupt back, just like oxygen ripping into your lungs.
Okay.
And Vidar, you look down to see that her eyes are just like glowing, like no iris, just like bright, like a cool white, just for a few seconds, and then they pull back to normal.
What did you do with the crown? What did you see when you touched it?
I saw nothing. What did you see?
Nothing. Nothing.
Okay. Can we roll an insight check? On that?
Yeah.
Do you need to?
Yeah, I probably don't.
I'm gonna say I've been around a lot of liars in my life, and you are absolutely the worst of them. What did you see?
I don't think it's any of your business.
I mean, you fell unconscious. We're saying this as we're running, so this is pretty comical. You fell unconscious in some mystical power and way, and it's none of our business. We just watched your sister try to control a laser cannon with her brain with that tiara, so I think it is our business.
I'm fine now, aren't I?
I don't know. Are you fine? What'd
I'm
you see on
fine.
the other side?
The moon, okay?
You saw the moon.
Yeah,
We're on a moon.
I saw a moon.
What did the moon?
As this conversation is happening, Vidar, you're all running towards the exit of the room. You pass a terminal and stop suddenly as you see the screen showing reactor status online. Maximum power output in 15 minutes.
Is this terminal... Is there like a map I can pull from it, a schematic of this moon that has like a control room? Or did it come from the control room?
You are in the control room, right? You're just about to leave the control room. That's where the fight occurred. So you begin typing furiously at the terminal. You see pretty easily you manage to pull up a few statistics. You see the lens focal distance, 163,288 kilometers. You see deuterium fuel tank capacity, 604,771,263,444 tons. Containment field power, 864 megawatts. After reading through those statistics, you type a bit more and navigate to a schematic of the moon base, an interactive schematic that you can focus in on the locations that you want to find. So you easily find the control room where you currently are.
What about escape pods? Or escape ships or anything along those lines?
Sure, you do a quick search. You pull up a number of hangars. All of them are on the surface of the moon itself, rather than on the structure in the center, meaning it's essentially a tram ride away. Make a history check for me.
Is that lore? We don't have history on.
Yeah, lore. Sorry, lore.
As he's doing that,
21.
Is the light getting bigger?
Yes, the light is getting stronger.
Okay, I'll let you do your thing.
21. Yeah, so the hangars are all far away. Many of them were also very damaged, as that you saw as you were flying in. You also, however, remember that there is one vessel parked immediately outside of the building you're in. The rocket ship that the Lunar Enclave flew in on.
As he's like typing, seeing like the laser get bigger, I would probably mention or ask do you see like any way to shut the light thing outside that's getting bigger off? Can you turn light off outside?
Could you make it nighttime?
Can you
really
make
quick,
it not do that thing?
Hey, Laura, can you do the thing?
Hey, can you? I know it's not a big deal to you guys, but the light grow bigger. Can we make it dimmer?
I, as Aaron, don't know, but would Vidar be able to
Can you do some
figure
hacks?
out anything?
Sure, make a tech check.
Natural 20, so 32.
Let's go.
They didn't want no 32s roll.
No, they didn't.
Hack the mainframe.
It's fine. It's fine.
You literally seconds before you said that, my brain just started going, oh, what if he rolls a nat 20?
Hack the mainframe.
You pretty quickly realize that you will not be able to break the encryption on the program that is currently taking over the entire facility in the time that you have. You can definitely break it. This is your job, but it would take more time than you have before the core becomes fully operational. You do, however, glean one bit of information from it. Its origin, having worked with all kinds of different viruses and methods of digital attack, you recognize pretty clearly the signs of I am 100% blanking on the name. Caleb, do you have it? Okay, I got it. This is from the Beacon Company of the Alsham Union.
It is a mega corporation that is, with the 30 whatever the frick. It's a mega corporation that is headquartered, at least in the Amnesian system, on the Nexus.
And is, I think with that 32, it is largely in control of like telecommunications kind of stuff.
And just to be clear, the .exe file that is currently putting the reactor through the motions to get it up and running was written, seemingly, by Beacon.
Got it.
That information was going to be lost last week.
Yes, it was.
32, you get it.
As for ways to shut down the device, you won't be able to do it through this terminal, but you do. There are several potential weak points that you could, like, physically go and try to sabotage and damage to cripple the device. The lens array that focuses the light, if one of those lenses are broken, then it would throw the whole focus out of focus, and would it wouldn't shut down the facility, but it would essentially render its beam harmless. The deuterium tanks, which are located near the core of the moon, if you could somehow shut down the flow to that, from those tanks into the device, you could stop the reaction from occurring. And also the containment field, there's essentially a magnetic containment field keeping the nuclear fusion contained so that it has enough pressure to sustain itself. So if you could somehow find a way to shut that down.
The power.
Yeah. Shut the power down to that.
In shutting down this nuclear fusion thing, does that typically just mean power off or explosion? How does shutting down the nuclear thing work?
That's a 32 tech check. I feel like we could just give him the answer to that.
Yeah, so unlike a nuclear fission reactor like what we have on Earth, so when those have a malfunction, they go critical and melt down and explode. Fusion, however, if it like escapes containment, for example, or like if it no longer has the fuel being pumped into it, then it it just stops. Like there might be an initial burst as the containment is broken, but after that it's just done.
So you can choose. Do you want to go after the lens that focuses the beam? Do you want to go after the power for the containment field? Or do you want to go after the deuterium, effectively fuel supply for the reaction?
Or
Probably
do you want to
the-
come up with some other creative way to shut the thing down?
And we improvise.
Yep.
I think the power. There's also audio playing in this music, and every time.
Yeah.
Does anyone else hear a faint
Yes,
voice?
it sounds like the
Okay.
Siri
Yes.
thing going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep.
Oh, that's what it
I keep
is. I'm
thinking our
like,
child is
oh my
behind us.
gosh, is Redford here? Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna see. I have two things playing right now. I'm gonna shut off one of them and
Okay,
see if it
'cause
goes away.
one of them I'm getting scared right now. But another just
All right.
thing is
Go
gonna
ahead.
come up behind me.
I think the power source makes the most sense. I don't know if anyone else is.
How close are we to the
Opinion.
power source?
I just yeah, that's good.
Vidar?
Good question.
Yeah, you go into the map that you had pulled up earlier, and pretty quickly find that the main sort of breaker room essentially is like the power distribution room for the whole station is just a few floors straight down from where you are now.
Okay. We shut the power off.
Yeah.
Save the cheerleader, save the world. Let's go.
All right. Vidar, you take, I imagine, a copy of the schematic real quick to your data pad and then just start sprinting down the hallways. And the rest, I'm assuming you're following closely.
Yeah. As we're like running, how's Vidar looking? Is he looking okay?
Why don't
I mean,
you...
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe an investigation check.
Okay.
Or maybe medicine.
Medicine?
Medicine?
Yeah, medicine. We'll do medicine.
Oh. 19.
With a 19, it is a little bit difficult. He is wearing a full body spacesuit, and you are both in full sprint.
Sure.
Fortunately, Vidar runs like Naruto, so his arms are still, and you can, see,
we
right?
both are really like Naruto?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the ladies are not. They're just rolling their eyes at you the whole time. But you are seeing subtle, unnatural movements under the surface of his skin.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think I would like to catch up to him in my Naruto running as we're
Okay.
going and just ask him as I'm like slightly out of breath. I am bold.
Yeah.
How are you hanging in there?
This is least of my concerns. I think stopping this laser would be priority, so I'm just sprinting, not taking a breath or moment to answer.
Okay. I am from now on. I have one eye on Vidar.
Okay. Yep. We will keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right. You guys head down a handful of sets of stairs and eventually find signage that is pointing in the same direction that you're headed, pointing towards the power distribution nexus. And eventually you come across what looks like almost like a oversized submarine door that it looks like it's sealed with like a large wheel, and you see what appears to be like very thick rubber gaskets around the whole sort of threshold of the door, and it is closed right now.
Okay. Is there a terminal next to it or anything?
It does not appear to.
It's metal with thick rubber gaskets.
Yeah, and it is. It does have like a wheel on the front,
Oh.
effectively.
Yeah, let's try to open that bad boy.
Okay.
Yeah, if not, use the Pharaoh blade.
Oh,
Who's doing that? Who's opening?
I don't know how to use a Pharaoh blade. Because don't you have to like connect it to turn it?
The like power cell is this one has been
That's right.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
this one's been modified with an Omnite power source, so it can run on its own.
Okay. I guess knowing that I just saw Iggy Phantom Menace a door with it, I guess I would do the same thing and turn it on, and it would be really hopefully. Honestly, I think Yorvir would hand it to Vidar because Vidar has more experience with something like that.
Wanna give it a shot?
He's seen some of them, so
Yeah, I just had first try the wheel. That'd probably be quicker than cutting a hole. But if that doesn't work,
Yeah, you do that. You turn the wheel. It totally does give, and it turns and it opens. It would have been really funny if you cut through and unlocked a door, though. The first thing you notice, kind of unusually, the walls of this room are unusually thick compared to most of the other walls that you've walked past here. It appears to be like 4 feet thick, and the entirety of the floor and walls and ceilings of this almost like tunnel to get in is covered in very thick shiny rubber, and when you look in, you can see that's with good reason. You without stepping through the threshold, you can look in to see what looks like a labyrinth of breakers, large breakers. This is like looking, the scene from the Matrix where it's all white and then all the weapon racks like fly out and there's just rows and rows and rows. There's just breakers over and over and over going to God knows what all over the station. And you see that most of them appear to be, even from this distance, either not labeled or labeled in such a way as to obfuscate whatever it is that it's sort of controlling. The second thing you notice, however, is that it appears that not all is as well inside this breaker room, and several of the sort of large sort of cabinets seem to have collapsed and fallen over, and you see sort of loose wires that are hanging from the ceiling and along the floor, and every couple seconds you see just like a small spark, an arc, along the floor and along the walls, and it's hard to know sort of exactly what's gonna make for a really bad day or not. You do see sort of farther in the room, though, what appears to be like a large cylindrical pillar that's covered in black and yellow stripes.
It's a solid material. I can't see. It's not glass. I can see something inside of it.
Mm-hmm. It looks to be like metal or concrete or something like that.
So we just start turning these things off, or what do we gotta do here, Vidar?
Question for the DMs. Would I be able to get a sense of if I cast shutdown in the middle of this room, would that be a really bad idea, or could that possibly help?
Shut down. You have a
It's an
That's a
120-foot EMP.
So
120. Jeez.
now, as long as you, I mean, I'm up to Steven, you and I can talk it over, but like, you might be shutting down a lot more than just the reactor.
Okay, that's true.
And I don't know if you necessarily know if or what would be the risk in that.
The insulated room helps.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about whatever happens in the room. It's what this room is powering, one way or the other. That's up to you, though. I feel pretty confident in saying that that would do the trick in terms of shutting off the reactor, though. Steven, I don't know if you have a different opinion.
Maybe that's the last case scenario.
Sure.
So is there are there breakers of different sizes? Okay, I'm thinking like 30 amp, 20 amp,
Right.
15. Is there? I understand these are probably way bigger. Are there?
They are much bigger. Yeah.
Breakers that are different sizes that look like they are there to help secure larger circuitry?
You do see a handful of different kinds of sizes, yes. And I'm going to just as effectively assume that Vidar's asking this question because breaker means nothing to you. But yeah, you do see a handful of different sizes. You don't, at least from this point of view, see anything comically oversized. You know what I mean? Maybe there's 3 or 4 different dimensions.
You said there's this tube in the middle of the room or somewhere. Is there anything I can tell immediately following like the flow of electricity going before or after that's easily?
It's hard to tell from this far out.
Oh boy, this is a deep cut.
I guess we'll go in, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I was gonna ask one more question.
I just will sort of remind that the floor and the walls and everything seem to be arcing with electricity. If you still would like to take a step, I am more than happy to roll the dice.
Do we have a shield or anything? Does anyone have like Misty Step?
I have Misty Step.
I have Dimension Door.
Are they is it arcing like up right next to the tube in front of us? Or is
it's sort of like along the floors and most of the panels and stuff, you're just seeing little sparks and subsequent flames, just really briefly every couple seconds.
Can I fly Finch over to it and see if he can scope it out real quick if there's anything worth for us to go over?
Absolutely.
Fly, Finch.
You yeet Finch in there. What's Finch's new friend's name again?
Higgs
kind of like gets behind your shoulder and is shaking a little bit, watching as Finch goes on. But Finch not touching anything, just staying floating in the thing, doesn't seem to be picking up any arcs of the electricity in here. And you can look, he's sending you images back through. Most of this room, it seems, as you kind of get in, if you were to peer through, it is a very large room, just like a gymnasium of breakers. But this big black and yellow striped pillar in the middle, as he eventually moves towards it and gets to the other side, you do see what looks like a comically sized breaker that is currently labeled reactor containment field. It is a giant red lever, but it does appear to be behind a relatively thick sheet of glass.
Run into it, Finch.
What I would say a strength check, but why don't you just roll a d20 and we'll figure out what this means.
15.
15. I don't think Finch is going to be able to break this just by
Finch
smashing
can't break
it.
It's on the other side of the tube.
It is on the opposite side of the pillar. Yeah, it appears to be. It appears to be a concrete pillar. It's about 50 feet away from the doorway.
Okay, so this is going to be. Can you call back Finch?
Yeah.
And can I attach my mechanical eye to Finch? And so I can have line of sight of the switch and then cast on and off because it requires line of sight.
Oh my gosh.
Look at Caleb's face. Look at it. He hates us so much. Alright, there's a floating mechanical eye on Finch.
Steven, do we need to have a conversation on the
Nope.
functional versus like technical definition of line of sight? Because typically, if I have line of sight on this thing, can I shoot at it? Like, that would usually make sense in that sense. Do you know what I mean?
My limbs are a tech focus, though, so I could cast it through my eyeball.
I think in this situation, it would work.
Look at Caleb. He's so irritated. He's so irritated.
That's fine.
I love how Aaron breaks everything. All right. Put your eye on top of Finch, the all-seeing eye now.
You slap it. Fully just looks like a really weird skin of a Destiny ghost at this point. And you send that sucker in, and Vidar winks at the thing and just and you all feel like a deep, like almost thunderous reverberation in the floor. You don't hear anything, but you feel just like a earthquake for a second or two.
Okay. Is it still sparking or no more sparks?
There is still sparks.
Okay. Since we're lower, do we have any line of sight on the flashlight that's growing outside?
I don't think in this hallway you would have line of sight on that, no.
How much more time do we have? I don't know how many minutes have passed.
Probably like 7 or 8 minutes.
Left or past?
Yeah, left.
Oh, okay.
You want to run back up and
Yeah, I was gonna say, could I have Finch fly back up the stairs and make eye contact with the tube? Because he can fly faster.
Sure.
Run.
I'll take my eye back before you fly him up.
Yeah. I give the eye graciously back to Vidar.
Yeah,
It's a little damp.
You send Finch up those couple stories. He's sending images back, and he gets back to look out the window and sees darkness.
I tell the crew, I think it's off? Question mark? Is like, wait, sees darkness. Is like all the power off upstairs too?
No, he can. It appears that the power is still on. Like the lights have not shut off or whatever, but
the growing flashlight seems to be
right. That seems to. There's no longer light emanating from that. Correct.
Okay, so maybe we get to one of those computer things and see if it's still in power on mode or something.
Sure.
There's like a backup power or something.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can do to like damage this breaker? Because it's great that we turned it off, but if anyone's going to come back up here at some point and try and reactivate this thing, it would be nice to just damage the crap out of it before we leave.
Ember. Yeah, can we like disassemble the tower? I wish we had.
I mean, that's up to you.
Explosions on our team. That would have been a great. Too bad he exploded himself.
It technically imploded.
Okay. Should we? I mean, does it look like the tube is actually supporting the room, like structurally? Like if we were to bring the tube down, does room come down with it?
What kind of check would that be, Steven?
Architectural.
I was just gonna say.
Just intelligence.
Structural engineering.
I think actually this is like a history check. I know that there are like examples
like things
of
you've researched, sort of deal?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Like I can think of an example of like dwarves are able to I think they have advantage on history checks to determine the origin of stonework or something like that.
Sure,
So-
history check.
Okay. 18.
It does appear to be structural to the room. Yes.
If we bring it down, it comes on to us.
Now, we're talking about it's probably like a 6 foot thick
Yeah.
concrete pillar.
Anything that we can blast. So we just have to blow up. I mean, if we blow up the breaker, someone can repair a breaker.
Maybe the lens. That might be easier to destroy.
Yeah, now that we've damaged the power, maybe we break the lenses.
Yeah, you want to go back upstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were the lenses we had something we had to go outside for? Or do we have to get in a ship for that? I forget.
No, that was technically Iggy was standing on one for a little while during the fight.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. Now that we have less of a ticking clock, let's go take care of a lens.
Yeah. Give me a group perception check, I guess, as we're running.
4.
15.
11.
14.
All right. Your fear, as you're making your way upstairs now, you notice very subtle every couple seconds. In normal situations, you probably wouldn't have even noticed it, but just given everything, you're on hyper alert. Just little tremors in the ground.
Every couple seconds, I'm feeling that.
Yeah. Irregular.
Not enough to like knock me off the feet, but
no, just like barely. Like it's the kind of earthquake that, like, oh, was that an earthquake sort of thing? You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Was that an earthquake or was that a truck driving by?
Right.
I'm gonna hold that thought until it maybe to see if it intensifies at all.
Sure. Yep.
But yeah, I'm not sure if it's my old knees creaking or if it's the thing falling apart.
Yeah. You guys run back up into the boss room, and the door rips open, and all of the oxygen in the small sort of enclosed hallway you were in gets ripped out as there's a hole in a window, and it closes up back behind you, and you are once again in the vacuum of space. And you guys run out past the crater in the ground out onto the lens. The lens is huge. It probably stretching out for several miles in diameter. The first thing you all probably notice actually is even through your spacesuit, and even though the laser does seem to be off, it is hot. Just whatever sort of gas is in the air is still cooling down from that laser that has come to a close. You look down at the glass and see that it is a thick boy. This lens is pretty thick. You might be able to do some checks to determine sort of how thick that you're thinking, but it's miles wide, at least several feet thick. The other things you would notice, you do see sort of around, because you're sort of inside of a ringed skyscraper, sort of what you think about. So you can see windows sort of like overlooking and even beneath the glass. You also do see like what seems to be a couple thousand feet below this lens that you're on is another lens that's, deeper in, and then another lens still before it just fades into darkness below you. It's probably a little unsettling walking over transparent nothingness. The last thing that you might notice sort of sporadically every few football fields or so are what looks to be giant sort of mechanical, almost like engine looking things with huge thick steel gears that seem to be connected to a worm gear, so one of those twisty ones they have in like 3D printers or whatever, and it seems to be the main mechanism for moving the lenses up and down to achieve different focal lengths.
And that is underneath all of it, correct?
It's kind of like as if they almost like notched out a piece of the glass and it's like hooked into the side of it. But the worm gear like poles do extend a little bit above and then go far below this piece of glass. You'd also probably see although it's not where you're currently standing, closer to what appears to be the center of this lens. The actual glass itself seems to be glowing and like slowly dimming.
Slowly dimming.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Would that be easier to break?
Hot glass?
I don't know. Just a thought.
I don't know school very well. You have the books.
Can I shoot a firebolt at the hot piece of glass and see what happens?
It's probably about a mile away. The only way you're able to see it is because this is the frickin' Utah salt flat sort of situation.
Okay. What do we do?
Is there like, I know we're out in space, right?
Yep.
Currently? Okay.
You're on the surface.
On the surface. Is there like fake gravity on the surface of the lenses or no?
You're on a moon, so there's some gravity, but there doesn't seem to be any artificial enhancement of it.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because we could jump further. That's right. We need to like plow something through this thing or drop something heavy on it.
What have we got?
A rocket made of Elysium steel.
You want to fly it through the lens?
Hell
Is
yeah,
that what you're
brother.
suggesting?
I mean,
Where
you guys
is our
have
rocket
one?
at?
Our rocket, no more, but their rocket still here.
Oh.
That rocket, at least to your knowledge, is your one and only way off of this rocket.
And you said
maybe
the
not
lenses were like, you said several feet thick, correct?
Yeah, you can do a perception check to get an idea.
9.
Several feet thick.
Several feet thick. Did we know from...
We're not talking dozens necessarily, but several
handful,
feet.
Couple, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we know, because we did see the rocket up close, was there a weapon system on that rocket?
I don't know if you would have enough. Well, actually, Vidar has looked over the schematics for that rocket. So the answer would be no.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we would be flying it.
It is a transportation vehicle.
Is there a way for us to access the gears, like in between the moving?
You can run over to the gears. Yeah, they're like kind of halfway above, halfway below the lens sort of deal.
I feel like our best bet is to maybe try to destroy the gears.
Yeah.
And if we break one set of gears, does the lens then fall, shattering upon the one below it? Like, do the gears, are they kind of like holding it like a plate? Like if the gears were to
think of it
removed,
like there were
tolerance.
There's sort of, if you're imagining like a more normal size lens, and there were metal clips kind of holding onto it, and those clips were fastened to gears, right? So if you did jam one of them and like the rest of them continued, there would definitely be a bending force applied, a shear force. That could be a problem.
Okay.
Back to nuclear fusion. If we shut that off, is there still, if we wait a year and power it back on, is there still something powering there, or would you have to start a brand new fusion to get
so
power?
Technically the fusion reaction would have to entirely restart. However, actually make a history check. Lore.
Your 32 is
16.
run out.
You said 16?
Yeah.
You think back to the infomercial that you saw like an hour ago. So the power to the power that runs the station is not provided by the fusion reactor. It's actually provided by essentially a massive electric turbine that is the turning of the moon. So the core, which houses the actual laser itself, stays stationary as the planet turns around it, generating an electric field and creating power. So unless you can stop the moon from turning or make the core turn with it, there will be power still being generated enough to start up the reaction again.
Okay.
So that gear,
Yeah,
we're gonna try to break that.
Yeah. Is there like a control unit for the gear?
You can run over to the gear. It looks like it probably takes a minute or two to get there. And you're running on glass, which again, a little unsettling, even though it's very thick. You get to the gear, and this thing, you knew it was big, but getting even closer, it is big. It is probably 15 to 20 feet in diameter. Really thick, chunky teeth. And the worm gear is sort of a similar dimension. You don't see any control panels out here. I'd say in general, the vibe out here is that this is not really meant for people to be walking around on. Yeah.
On the thing that you downloaded from your data pad, Vidar, did it have any information about the gears controlling the lenses?
It told you where they were. It told you what they were used to do. And that it moves the lenses up and down. I don't know if you would have any more information other than that.
You say there is clips holding the lenses to the gears?
Yeah, you think like there's a whole metal, as if this giant piece of glass has occasional like divots cut out of it where like metal is like fixed to it, and then that's what's making up the engines that are moving it up and down.
Maybe we can just take the ferro blade to the gears and mess them up.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. I was gonna say I'll just throw a fireball at it, but that works too.
Do you want to? There's there's the actual gear that's fixed to the lens, which is a rotating thing, and then there's the worm gear, which is a tower that goes way far down and probably another 75 to 100 feet up. Big, thick steel.
What happens if we take the ferro blade and start plunging it through the lens?
I don't want to be on the glass when we do that.
You want to run back over to your broken window and hide, stick your arm over, sort of deal?
I don't know. What do you guys want to destroy the gears, or do you want to try seeing what happens if, like, would it crack it?
I say gears. That's my vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Your fear, because you've already been successful in this in the past, you are noticing a increasing regularity and intensity to the tremors.
Hey, are you guys feeling the things, the tremors? Did you guys feel that?
Did we?
Sure. Just a little bit.
Yeah, as is pointed out to you. Yeah.
I've been noticing the last couple minutes it's been growing in size and frequency. We should probably do what we gotta do and get off this rock.
As he says that, I guess I'll take the ferro blade to the gear and just start.
The tall one or the round one?
The tall one would potentially control multiple of them, right? Because there's multiple layers of this lens, or
You are on the top layer, but yes. So it is, you know, like the worm gears on a 3D printer. It's a big like shaft with the. It's like a screw, right?
Yeah.
So you're cutting off the top 75 feet of it, but it goes down several thousand feet.
It should hang, right? If we drop that support, your stanchion.
Well,
then...
if you cut it far enough, you might be yelling timber.
Yeah. How far away to the window is it?
It is right on the edge, the circumference of the thing. So.
Okay. I'm gonna harpoon my hand into the wall, into the window, like through the window.
Okay. You've impaled the wall.
I've impaled. Thank you for using the word properly. Yeah, I've impaled the wall.
You did not one-hit KO the wall, though.
No.
Several inches deep.
Yep.
The harpoon hand has impaled the wall. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bracing myself if there is a timber.
Right.
To yank myself in. I'll maybe pull someone. I don't know. I'll see.
And Vidar, you're going to climb up there and just start pushing through.
Yeah.
A big old friggin' space chainsaw and a big old space steel tree. And is your objective to cut all the way through it? What are we trying for?
Probably.
Okay.
Damage it as much as possible. I don't know. I would get thoughts.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. We'll just
what
be
kind of
ready
check
to
would
book it.
this be, Steven?
Yeah, book it.
To cut this thing through. Or would it even be a check necessarily? Or a dexterity sort of deal?
Yeah, probably dexterity to determine like how well you can cut it to fall where you want or whatever.
Yep.
I assume I no proficiency because I don't have proficient in Fairblade. 15.
Okay.
Nice.
You very carefully start pushing your way through the steel. Even with the Fairblade, there is resistance, and you see it sort of lighting up and melting away behind. And the rest of you starting to watch from a safe distance. You hear the whole sort of structure starting to creak and groan as you even can see the steel sort of beam starting to bend a little bit. And as you sort of get towards the very last and sort of break through, you hear the whole thing shudder, and like you feel the ground underneath you shake, and you see 75 feet tall, 4 feet thick of steel just start slowly falling towards the center of the lens.
Can I crawl to safety?
Yeah, give me just everybody a dexterity saving throw to GTFO.
All right.
Ooh, no.
17.
13.
25.
I got a 5, but I want to use my magical guidance and reroll that.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that okay? Oh wait.
Yeah.
When I make an ability check, so that's not.
Or will
that be
not a saving throw?
Not a saving.
Does Tides of Chaos not? Is this separate from Tides of Chaos?
This is separate from.
If she stumbles, I can grab her.
But I'll use my Tides of Chaos instead.
Okay.
I'll use Lucky for that matter as well. Then.
Because I have a free hand, I can grab anyone who.
11.
I got lower, so 13 still.
Okay. All right. You all start running. Ember, Yorfir, you don't have too much of a problem. You manage to jump onto the steel frame outside of the lens. And the worm gear comes down and slams into the lens and immediately just shatters. You feel like deep cracks run miles long in an instant as huge chunks of this glass starts dropping down out of the air. And Vidar and Alora, you find the ground giving way as you're making your last several steps. I'm going to give you both one more dex save to be able to try to grab on.
If I don't make it, I would like to prepare to cast a teleport tech power I have.
Yep.
9.
Oh my gosh.
Nope.
6. Can I dimension door to save?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take Vidar with me if he's close enough to, or if he's using his own, but whatever.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, you guys could be close enough. And then, so Laura, you grab onto Vidar and manage to zap up and both sort of land on the ground, sort of on the steel frame as you all look down and just see raining giant, like several ton large pieces of huge, 5 feet thick to be exact, glass just raining down thousands of feet.
Whew.
Did it take out like more lenses? The rod as it was falling?
You could wait another 30 seconds or so for it to to hit the next thing if you'd like.
Probably have to start running, right?
I think we should move, yeah.
Yep.
2 things. Alora, as you grabbed onto Vidar and teleported to safety, as you were sort of getting up, you felt movement in his body.
Oh no.
Okay. Probably like without showing people, but like, ugh.
Right. Right.
Pooju.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you are all standing on that steel frame, managed to escape into the broken window that you came in before. Vidar, well, all of you would feel another shake, this time a little bit stronger in the ground. And Vidar, you notice several of the computer screens with exclamation points lighting up.
Just still run, unless it has an error message.
It does have error messages, yeah. The primary error message that you're seeing amongst well, the primary thing you're probably seeing is reaction failed, and then pressure lost for the containment field. The second thing you're seeing is several things indicating what appears to be a deuterium leak.
A what?
Can I get? Well, I guess it's a tech check. It's
There needs to be a science skill separate from tech.
29.
29. Okay. So deuterium is a isotope?
Isotope, yes.
Isotope of hydrogen. It's a hydrogen with some funny amount of neutrons in it, basically. And hydrogen by itself, with nothing else in the area, is not very flammable at all. You can't really set fire to it. Oxygen is the exact same way, not very flammable at all, which is good because you've been running around in oxygenated chambers. Hydrogen and oxygen together, there's not many things more flammable than that. And you are seeing schematics showing deuterium leak filling several chambers lower on the moon and like slowly growing levels increasingly higher and higher and higher up on the space station.
We need to go. And then
We Naruto running out of here.
All right.
Yeah, as fast as we get to the ship, right? That's where we're going.
Yes. You all immediately just start sprinting as fast as you can back to the sort of lobby that you came in on. As you reappear back into outside of the vacuum as the door shuts again, and you can feel the pulse come in of air and sound. You hear alarms start ticking everywhere. You're seeing signs for or alarms of sort of gas containment things, talking about getting to secure locations. You can see that there are sensors already in the room that you're in that are detecting trace amounts of deuterium.
Okay.
But you continue to sprint down the hallway, past the hallway that Thalira sort of video called in, past the small door that led to the time regulation, Alsham time regulation chamber that you came through, and then eventually out into the open lobby. The main exits to the trams that you came in on seem to be completely like locked down, like very thick doors that have sort of been slammed shut. You do, however, see what appears to be it has sort of very large windows out in the front, and you can see several hundred yards past that the very tip of the Lunar Enclave rocket, just over a handful of rocks in that direction.
Sprinting and jumping.
I keep going.
Okay. Can I get a perception check?
From all of us?
Yeah.
25.
9.
21.
3.
Okay.
Man, you need to work on those rolls.
I know what's going on.
Ember and Yorfir, it doesn't take any technical experience from either of you to recognize what appears to be the sound of distant explosions, and coupled with small flashes of light, of orange light, sort of bouncing off of what atmosphere there is, you get the sense that things are going south here quickly. You manage to run up to the glass in the lobby, and it is several inches thick, and you're going to need to get through it. This is not like windshield, or not like your windshield glass. This is glass that is designed to prevent everybody in the lobby from suffocating to death, right? So it's thick stuff.
Thicker than a ferro blade.
Can I get a tech check? I know it's stupid, but Steven and I knew this was coming.
Only a 23.
All right. Only a 23, igniting a ferro blade right now in a chamber filled with, we talked about basically flip the switch, credits roll. It's exactly what we would do. So not an excellent idea.
Is there a way, is there like an up? Is there anything up we can,
There is more glass above you. You're in a mostly glass dome.
So there's no like a service hatch?
No. The emergency exits have all been sealed.
How far is the rocket from here now? Roughly?
A few hundred yards.
Okay, we gotta think this through. You gotta need your spells?
I'll also mention Vidar. You're starting to not feel incredibly well.
Great.
Gosh.
Does he look like he's not feeling incredibly well?
He's probably a bit paler than...
Cool.
When getting the schematic of this rocket ship, was I able to tell, is there any sort of autopilot system, or was it entirely manual?
You would probably remember that there appears to be a relatively untampered with cockpit chair that has been installed into the top of this rocket.
Okay.
Is it something that potentially a rhinoceros could push through if I were to conjure one?
Oh.
I'd say potentially that could be the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Rhinoceros, go!
And
you can
immediately
just
suffocate in
conjure.
the vacuum of space.
You are absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. But we just need to get out. So
You can conjure a rhinoceros.
yeah.
That's pretty sick.
I'm pretty sure that I can. Let me just double
Where's
check.
this been all of our lives?
You don't have to have a nearby reasonable explanation for where a
No.
rhinoceros came from. You can just appear one. Great.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that is how that works, actually, yes.
Are there rhinoceroses on Amnesia?
Yeah, I guess
Sure.
probably something.
Or check.
You can do that. I just want to confirm.
Yep.
Okay. Ember, you cast whatever the frick night rhinoceros spell you have, and there is a rhinoceros now inside the lobby of the Olsham Lance space station.
Oh my god.
Great. I tell it to charge at the window as hard as I can.
You're a monster. The rhinoceros takes several steps back, kicks its back foot a couple times, and then just goes charging as fast as it can. What's the strength of a rhino? I would have to roll a check.
I have it pulled up already. Hold on.
At least suffocation is like.
Can I get a strength check or an athletics from the rhino?
Yes.
It's got 21 strength.
21
Also,
strength.
of course, there's a stat block for a rhinoceros. Why wouldn't there be?
Okay, so 12.
12.
Yeah.
12. That's with the plus.
The plus
So
5?
Yeah, I rolled a 7.
Yeah, I'd say with that, it does not get through. Just dunk off the thing.
Poor rhino.
It can make another attempt, but the DC will be a bit higher.
Sure, yeah. Let's go again.
You didn't have
Let's
the
go
proper
again.
motivation.
Let's go
Everyone needs
again.
to be chanting Grand. Grand.
I have. It's essentially bardic inspiration. I'm trying to find out the name. Can I give it to this rhino?
Can freaking supercharge this rhino. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, what does that
Plus a
do?
D4.
Okay.
D.
No, it's probably higher because it scales with.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I know Bardic Inspiration does, but does the, because this is just a like a
Guidance
I'm
does
pulling it
not
up.
racial
skill.
trait, isn't it?
What is it?
It's a D8.
Oh,
D8.
okay.
All right. Roll Ember, and then add a D8.
17
17. That's with the D8 added.
with the D8 added.
That is not quite enough to do it. Bouncing off one more time.
Oh, rhino.
The rhino's not doing it, huh?
Y'all weren't chanting Grand. I told you.
Laura, can you teleport anymore?
I can. Yeah. We can do that. What? So there's the glass, and then is it like a drop off, or is there something on the other side?
there's
No.
ground. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess.
Drop off.
Can
But I
Ember
don't know-
Misty
I don't know
step out too?
Ember could Missy Step. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 3 of you.
I can teleport as well and bring a creature with me. It's only 90 feet, but
Oh, the rhino
Okay.
can come.
Do you want to move the rhino?
I don't know if it'd fit on the
Fjorfir says
ship.
it out loud. Oh, the rhino can come. Not understanding vacuum
we-
of space.
Really want to bring a rhino? Okay.
It will die in space the moment it leaves this glass. All right, so we're teleporting out.
All right.
All right, cool.
Yep.
All of you mark off the various spells that are required to do that. But yeah, you all manage to zap out to the other side, just a few feet on the other side of the glass, and then start sprinting.
You begin running from the station and feel feel a shockwave hit you from behind as the room that you just left explodes, blasting all of the glass outward. Gouts of flame erupting from every window for a few moments. The rhino comes sailing through the air, landing charred in a heap next to you.
Not the rhino.
The flames, however, quickly are suffocated as the vacuum of space overwhelms them, leaving just the charred room behind you. The charred lobby.
I thought you were going to say charred rhino.
And the charred rhino, yes.
You did say charred rhino before.
It twitches a little bit. Just
not the tail twitch. All right, so we're sprint jumping to the ship, hopefully.
As you run, the ground beneath you trembles, and the flickering lights, the few that are still lit up in the lobby, cast eerie lights, eerie shadows against the ground in front of you. Vidar, you suddenly stumble, gasping for breath. Something is wrong with your suit. The oxygen is not flowing. You start to panic, and you know that the only way to get air is to get out of this suit, get your helmet off. You need to breathe.
I would take it off.
Wait, do we, is he like in front of us or next to us?
Yeah, so you guys all see, like, you would all have been running side by side and then see him stumble and fall, and, like, panicked begin, like, reaching for the clasp on his helmet. You would also hear his, over the intercoms, his strained, gasping breathing.
Is he like starting to like try to grab his helmet?
Yeah, he it looks like he's grabbing at the release latch for the helmet.
Can I make like a play to slap his hand away?
Sure. Make a we'll call this an opposed acrobatics check.
10.
Sorry, Vidar, did you make a check?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Is this athletics or acrobatics?
Acrobatics.
7.
You got a 10. Okay, you do manage to grab his wrist and hold it. Hold it from the clasp for a moment.
I've been watching Vidar. I know he's unwell, and I like thinking back to when we were in the cave and the space sickness set in, and I just like want to pull Vidar's face like we're lens to lens, just hopefully it's not an alien face, but just to Vidar's face and just say like, what are you doing? You're fine. It's okay. Get up.
Am I able to speak or no?
Yes.
Strained.
Yeah, definitely strained.
I would probably say, remember the promise you made at the academy to the dean.
As he is saying that, however, you see something moving under the skin of his face.
Okay. Like, in all, like, how are we gonna get off without you?
That's a good question. You probably won't.
Perfect. Thank you, Vidar. We need you now. Not the time. Get to your feet. We have to hold the wall. Is it still like moving around?
Yes, it is. It's getting more and more agitated. You see it even like in some places bulging out his suit.
Oh.
How long would it take me to explain rocket science to your fear about how to fly up?
At least a couple minutes.
I would probably start to spew all this information on how to fly a rocket.
He's just spewing. Okay.
Yeah, just jargon.
Is it just like? Is it now starting to just kind of come out of the suit even more?
Vidar, as you fight against the compulsion to take off your helmet, you hear an inhuman but familiar voice echoing in the helmet. Kindness, mercy, suffocation, easy, ripping, tearing, excruciating.
I would try to take off my helmet again.
Do you try to stop him, Yorfir?
I think... Oh my gosh. At this moment, would Yorfir know, like, suffocating is an easier way to go? I know I haven't heard that.
Right.
But the
Impale
idea...
my stall. Do it.
This is a serious moment. Would I know something like that?
Probably not.
Okay. I think Yorfir, in this moment, knowing everything is happening, would bring him close for an embrace and tell him sorry as he tries to slide Eorba for a blow.
Can I see what's happening?
Or a finishing blow. As like literal tears are going down Yorfir's face because this is another person. He is just...
Yes, Ember, you absolutely would see Yorfir unsheath Yorva and prepared to stab.
Okay, I'm running over and grabbing his hand with Yorba and like yanking him. Stop.
I'm trying to stop her.
Yeah. No.
I'm trying to block her from
What if she's
Yorfir.
trying to stop me? The other hand goes through Vidar.
Okay,
There's
so
no
as
Hold on.
That's fine. If I feel
All right.
pull, go ahead.
All right, so Ember, you grab onto Yorfir's hand. What are you doing?
I'm screaming and saying, I'm gonna save him. Stop.
There is no way to save him. We made a promise.
Vidar doubles over, a scream tearing from his throat as the creature begins to force its way out, its grotesque legs pushing against your mechanical torso. The pain seems to gather up to one point, however, as a leg bursts out of your left side, quickly followed by another ripping itself from your remaining biological arm. Blood and metallic fluids mix as the RNO starts to tear you apart from the inside.
I would like to rip my arm free and stab him.
Okay, as all of this is happening, I'm reaching into my bag and pulling out my flower that I got from the sage. And I'm going to crush it in my hands and say, we lost 2 of our brothers today. We are not losing a third. Doctrina, goddess of knowledge and intellect, by all of your power and might, remove this RNO safely from Vidar's body and vanish it from existence.
Doctrina really showing up tonight.
Oh my gosh.
Doctrina.
What I mean, if that's not a sign.
I was going to say a sudden profound silence falls over the scene, but actually thunder rumbles. As if the very universe turns its attention toward you. The petals of the raven's breath dissolve into a shimmering obsidian mist that swirls around Vidar, enveloping him in its ethereal embrace. The mist glows with a soft bluish light, illuminating Vidar's pain-stricken face with a serene radiance. The RNO's legs thrash violently, but the mist tightens around them, forcing the parasite to retreat. Vidar's screams fade to a whimper, then silence as the divine intervention takes hold. The mist pulses with power, its glow intensifying until it's almost blinding. You shield your eyes, feeling the presence of something far greater than yourselves. Then, as quickly as it began, the light fades, leaving Vidar lying on the ground, gasping for air, but alive. The RNO is gone, its malevolent presence seemingly eradicated by the divine power of Doctrina. You feel, for the first time in months, clean. Your wounds begin to close, the magic knitting flesh and metal together seamlessly, then weaving the cloth of your suit back together.
Do I understand what just happened, or no?
The subtle motions of the RNO inside you and the pressure that it's been exerting on your organs and muscles and everything, it has been a constant companion for the last month at least. You don't feel that anymore.
Or, I mean, do I know Ember? Do I realize what Ember did, or was I too focused on dying that I didn't realize?
I'll say make a wisdom saving throw.
3.
No.
What did the rest of you do?
Probably just standing there gawking like...
Yeah. Your fear dropped Eorpa and just is stunned. Probably weeping still.
Yeah, I think Ember just falls to her knees and is sobbing.
I think I would be crying too, as a relief of not feeling pain.
Wow.
This is really nice and all, but I think we should get going.
Yeah, you do feel the ground continue to rumble underneath you.
I think, Yorfir would stand up and help Vidar to his feet and begin to start running to the ship.
Okay. You all get to your feet and begin stumbling back towards the ship. You reach it after a few moments and begin circling it, searching for the door that you had seen close just before it launched. You, however, see no door. The only marking that you see on the exterior of the ship is a single magical symbol glowing in omnite blue of the a crescent moon on the wall of the ship.
Can I go up and touch it and see if anything happens?
You feel, as you touch it, something pulse through you and then pulse back to the sigil, and appearing in the wall of the rocket is a seam that opens up to reveal the door, the hatch that you had seen before, leading directly into the first level of the rocket ship.
Awesome. Let's go.
Okay. You climb up the ramp, and as soon as you enter the doorway, you can suddenly hear again as you seemingly have passed through some kind of barrier keeping the air inside the rocket. And you walk in and look around the ramp closing behind you and see a room that is just covered in magical sigils. Every surface has some glowing inscription on it. There are also racks of just chunks of omnite of varying sizes, some as small as like a quarter, and some bigger than your torso, just arrayed out on these racks. It seems that about a third of the racks are empty, and about a third of those that are remaining are drained and dull, no longer glowing. There is also a metal ladder on the far side leading upward.
I'll go up the ladder, even though I don't really know much about spaceships, but I'll lead the way.
All right. You climb up and up onto the second floor, where you see like a donut-shaped room, the center taken up by a pillar, and both the inner and outer walls are surrounded by a ring of seats. So there's seats on both sides of you, facing the aisle. Looks to be probably a few dozen seats here. There is also a gap in the seats on the central pillar leading upward again.
Is that where, according to the schematic, the pilot chair was? Or not quite?
On the 3rd floor, yes, that is where it would be.
I guess I'll go up again.
Okay. You climb up into the 3rd and final floor of the rocket and see just like all the walls in this room, a glittering Elysian steel dome above you, and a captain's chair, the first one that most of you have seen since the fateful day that started this journey, with its electronic controls laid out in front of it, and you see 2 seats, one to either side of it, facing the walls. One of them is facing what appears to be a like a crystal orb of some kind, and the other is facing or right out on the wall, sort of like a complex weaving of glowing blue cords running from small omnite crystals that are glowing various different brightnesses, connected to dull drained crystals, each labeled with a different system, thrust, shields, life support, etc. And behind the pilot's chair you see 2 more seats.
Okay. Vidar, do you want to take that main seat with all the doodads?
Yep. I'll walk up to it and sit down.
Okay.
I guess I'll sit in the seat with the crystal ball in front of it.
Okay.
Is there a seat playing Armageddon?
Shockingly enough, no.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, they were watching Armageddon too. Cool. I'll just sit down and whatever. I don't know what any of it is, so I'll just sit down in one.
Sure, like one of the open seats behind the captain's chair.
Perfect.
Yeah, same.
Okay. You, Vidar, you take the controls, sit down at the pilot's chair, and begin the familiar startup sequence. Nothing seems to happen.
Interesting. What was the 3rd chair that no one's sitting in?
That is the one with the glowing cords connecting omnite crystals to drained omnite crystals with labels on them, marking the 3 that I have written down are thrust, shields, and life support. There would be other systems, though.
So we need to plug in the thrust one.
Bench.
Hang on, so I guess we're noticing
there are charged crystals sitting over there as well.
So I'll walk over and I'll grab one of the cords. I'll plug it into one of the I guess the thrust one into an omnite chunk that has power.
Sure. You feel the ship underneath you rumble to life. Vidar, your controls begin powering up. You do see a readout saying insufficient power.
Insufficient power? Is there like a second cord I can plug into another omnite chunk?
Yeah, there's like a dozen different omnite chunks on the bottom, each with its own cord, and like you can connect multiple to a destination.
Okay, I start just plugging a bunch into the thrust one. Like, I mean, just
Okay.
It's one of those old school telephone operators.
Yeah.
The woman standing at the table with all the XLR cables.
Yep. That was from your first time, actually.
Right.
Yeah. All right. The power readout steadily grows and grows until it is well beyond the necessary power to take off. But Vidar, you are at the controls, able to tell the ship where to go. I will also mention a small detail that all the seats are like laying backwards on the ground. So to get in them, you lie on your back, essentially.
How important is the life support now that we're in spacesuits? Is it super critical? With my experience with space travel, I don't know.
Is a life support charge?
I mean, you have enough power to do both.
Oh, we have enough power to do everything.
Yeah, okay. I give some power to life support system. just a couple though. Like
right.
we gotta go
less
fast.
important.
Yeah,
less important.
Oxygen, don't need it.
Yeah. So you, however, so you like all the systems are ready to go. However, you have no visual.
Oh.
Staring at a big steel dome.
Can I touch the crystal ball?
Immediately, the dome almost seems to grow transparent as a image of a blue void appears above it. The Omnesian zone outside the window. Sort of a projection. You actually see a light emitting from the orb. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's get back.
It's beautiful.
I'll also say, like Elora, as your hand sort of shifts a little bit, and you see the view shift as well, slightly, rotating slightly as your hand does.
Okay.
I guess I activate the thrusters.
All right.
Activating thrusters.
Oh, that was harsh. That was a hard Vidar. As you initiate the launch sequence and brace for the anticipated roar of the engines, an unexpected sensation washes over you, a mild numbness spreading across every part of your body. The numbness morphs into a subtle vibration, which slowly intensifies, pulsing like two sine waves drifting in and out of phase. A hum fills the air, not mechanical, but more like the deep resonance of a colossal tuning fork, gradually closing in on its perfect pitch. As it rises, the various pieces of Omnite on the room in front of Yorfir begin to glow in response, synchronizing with that frequency. Your dashboard is cluttered with technical gauges and dials, all seemingly drifting aimlessly, displaying figures that bear no relevance to what the vessel is currently doing or should be doing. The projection of the outside world sitting in front of Elora starts to move, though none of your guts register any sensation of acceleration, resulting in a fleeting but intense wave of motion sickness. The focal point of the projection ascends higher and higher above the moon, unveiling a vast horizon sporadically lit by fiery explosions radiating in every direction. Suddenly, as if the projection were a slingshot being pulled taut, Vidar, your head slams into the back of your salvaged cockpit chair as the ship lurches violently upward away from the moon's surface. The wheel resists your efforts to steady the ship on its ascent, revealing just how rusty your piloting skills have become. The ascent accelerates, the ship catching up with your vision, the hum of the hull now resonating through every bone in your body, accompanied by a bright blue glow emanating from the hatch that you crawled through. Turning your head to investigate, though, your breath is ripped from your lungs by a massive impact, an impact that would likely crumple most other vessels, slamming into the side of the hull. Looking through the projection as Alora turns the vision over your shoulder, you see the source, a massive fiery mushroom cloud the size of a megacity erupting from the mouth of the Ulsham Lance, hurling glass, metal, and stone debris into the atmosphere. Small shards of the glass shatter against the hull of your ship as you continue to soar upwards. The rocket gradually quiets as the thrust needed for propulsion decreases and the clanking of debris against the hull subsides. Against every conceivable odd, every single one, you are alive, and perhaps even more miraculously, you seem to be reasonably safe. You look around at your passengers, the serendipitous friends you've made along the way, friends who have fought alongside and for you since the beginning, friends who are just as astonished to be breathing as you are. You gaze forward at the giant blue marble before you, a planet teeming with life, entirely unaware of the catastrophe they narrowly escaped. You look upward past the planet into the milky blue expanse of the Omnesian Zone and ponder the vast system above and the trillions of people who have no inkling that any of this has transpired. And you're reminded that the ship that you're piloting, made of Elysian steel, is likely the only vessel in the entire galaxy theoretically capable of navigating that cloud unscathed. Finally, you glance down at your instruments, uncertain of the remaining fuel or if you can even figure out how to land this thing, but those are concerns for tomorrow. Today, you and your friends face a single decision. Do you pull that joystick up or do you push it down?
Yes.
How long do we have to make this decision? Is it seconds? Is it enough time to warrant a conversation?
You guys can have a conversation, yeah.
Where do you guys want to go?
Home.
I want to go home.
I'm undecided.
Vidar?
Where do you...
I push down.
You have a bit of time in the rocket. If there's anything you'd like to discuss or do or contemplate. Also, just to be clear, I'm about to end the game, so if you have anything left that you want to talk about, now's your time.
Once we're on our way back to the surface, I would probably ask what happened.
Happened to what?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
The RNO.
You never had RNO inside of you.
Yeah.
What's an RNO? What's an RNO? Vidar? Never heard of this creature.
And yet knows that it goes inside a person and is a creature.
Stay out of this.
I think I would.
Saved
Yeah.
you.
I would just look at Vidar and say, turns out those flowers are pretty powerful.
But what about Aegis?
I don't think I would say anything.
Thank you.
Do you not want to go home, Vidar?
There's nothing for me back home. I was essentially kicked out of my society because of this.
Would they accept you back now that you don't have the Arno inside of you?
Probably, but I would have to give a reason to why I'm still here doing so, which would expose your home. I think there's a place for me at the academy with the Dean of Higher Education.
You could always come back to my farm.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of
I'll give all your kids harpoon hands.
We have a lot of farmhand. I'm sure with your technical prowess, we could have quite the stable farm. We could.
They all want harpoons for hands?
I don't really know. I don't remember their names. I don't remember how many there are, but there's a lot of orphans waiting for me back at a farm, and one kind of mildly irritated shopkeeper.
Also,
there was at least
wardens?
one named Caleb and I think a pair named Jimmy and Fallon, if I recall correctly.
We are still wardens. We do need to probably report back to. Does it matter?
Is there like an early retirement from the wardens? How does that work? If you do a good job.
Might be a good idea to check in.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could just F off. Stay low. I know. Wait, we can hide. Trust me. I can.
You just saved our life though. With are all our friends still alive with Briarwood or whatever?
Us in to do more of this stuff
Blackthorn.
because I don't know if you guys are cut out for it.
Ember and Alora, what are you gonna do?
Ah, man. I want to go have words with my father and maybe like team up with him to throw some people out of power.
That's cool.
Overthrow his second ruler.
Ooh. Yeah.
And Ember?
I am going wherever Vidar is going.
Oh, that's cool.
To the academy then.
Yep.
And any thoughts for your friend near the academy, Hyoba?
Yeah, when Vidar is busy, I'm just gonna go sit outside the door and hope that she comes out or they let people in. One of those two. I'll just have a little tent out there and just hang out and wait. Because that's closest to where she is, right? Is the academy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely want to be there.
You did help save the world. They're gonna have to cut some exceptions for you, right?
You'd think. We'll see.
As you point the ship downward towards the glittering blue planet below you, shining in both the reflected light of the Omnite cloud and its own cerulean glow, your eyes are drawn to the brightest spot on the planet, the Maw. Its massive Omnite crystals just visible from even this height. Your minds go back to the story you were told of how that massive crack was created 1,000 years ago, and the super laser that drilled into it. You think of the cataclysm that would have befallen this world had you not managed to stop it in time. You think of all the people down below that don't even know how close to annihilation they were. You think of the friends and family you lost barely an hour ago, those a month ago, and even those years ago. You think of how many people you just saved from that same pain. And as amnesia grows in your vision, you think forward to the new adventures beginning before you. Hopefully, one's a bit less eventful than the one you are now finishing. And with that, we
see
will
you in the next
end
campaign.
this campaign.
Wow.
All right, everybody's here.
Welcome back,
Everybody's here.
our deceased characters.
We wanted to have some open time on air today to ask any questions that we may or may not be able to answer about plot or whatever else, about this campaign specifically, because then we'll wrap up and next campaign we've already started writing it. So does anybody have any questions they want to get out there on the record?
What did Iggy see when he died? Read it in the lore books, okay?
Probably nothing.
Do we know he's dead? Does it lead to a portal to a different plane? Who knows?
I was wondering.
There is magic.
Yeah, Naka and
Unfortunately,
Iggy are actually in another dimension having wonderful adventures with unicorns and rainbows.
Oh, that's cool.
I feel like that's
It's probably
pretty,
hell for them.
pretty confidently fits into the category of unanswerable questions, this or the other side of the game, unfortunately. Also, I know we have a couple. I'm loving the roasted rhinos AI images showing up in this. That is great. If anybody, I know there's a couple people watching in the comments. I know specifically my dad is. I don't know if the Shermans are watching. But if any of you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments as well.
All I gotta say is your fear better take care of Higgs.
Who?
Well, he's certainly far from an only child at this point. That's for sure.
I certainly take care of Finch pretty well. So.
Do you? No, I'm kidding.
You did almost kill him several times, if I'm remembering correctly.
And I saved him every time, okay? Keep him in line, okay?
We have a question from Nick. Sorry, for first-time players, what was your favorite part?
Oh man. It's being with all of you guys. No, I thought I just think it's such a cool concept. I mean, we all love playing games, but just being able to, because this is the first, obviously dice type game I've ever played. So just letting that dictate what you do is super interesting. Be it good or bad, it is what it is. You know?
Yep.
Yes.
Steph, any other thoughts?
Just the creativity that comes into all of this is really fascinating. Like, as with a theater background, like that used to be an improv and everything was my jam, and I have not worked those muscles in so many years, and to just be in an environment every week where everyone's doing that is just really exciting and fun.
Does I'm curious, Iggy / Grant, if you feel one way or the other based on the theory, your theory of everything that you made several months ago, if you feel more or less confident in the general direction.
I stand by what I said. I think at least 50% of what I said are accurate.
That everything is just science we don't understand yet, more or less.
Yeah.
Because we did just witness what most might consider a miracle that just occurred.
Like, why didn't we do that
computer
to
can't do
start
that.
with? That's my question.
It's in a simulation.
Nanotech.
Simulation.
Yeah.
Nanotech.
We saw what's his face in the academy. He's got nanotech.
Yeah, and there was a cloud of black specks around Vidar.
Nanotech. That's it.
Wait, a cloud of black specks? When was that?
When Ember crushed the flower, it crumbled into black dust and surrounded him.
Nanotech, gotcha.
I feel like my theory was more so about the, how all of the worlds are connected. That was kind of my big thing was, trying to figure out how did this planet come to be, and the peoples on it and whatever. Yeah. And I think something like half of what I said is along the right lines.
Different question for everybody. There are very intentionally dozens of loose threads all over the frickin' place, right? Some of them are like big, overarching stuff, and some of them are just random characters and plot lines and stuff. Are there any things, consider this an interest form, are there any ones for future campaigns that you'd be particularly interested in seeing through, either characters that you want to go back to, or places, or whatever?
Darby! No, I'm kidding.
Absolutely.
We just need Darby back.
The origin of Darby.
We could bring Darby back.
By far the dragons. I think that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very true.
Yeah, want to know more about the dragons. Mm-hmm.
You will eventually know more about the dragons. I think we can promise that. It might be a minute.
It might be a minute.
I want to know how many more people Liz is going to murder because of the shadow.
Liz.
Need to know how that ends up.
Yep.
Oh, and Eam. Absolutely Eam.
Oh, yes. Tongo. Matt's Tongo character.
Yeah.
Very angsty.
Yeah. Angsty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Angsty Tongo character. He gets angsty. That was my favorite part of the notes thing that you guys had.
Yeah.
I guess also what happened between the war between the Wardens and the Atuli Empire. We just missed it, so.
Oh, yeah.
The results of that.
We'll have to find out later.
Who knows?
There it is.
It also, obviously it was not firing at full capacity. It did not, do anywhere near what it did before. But there was a period of time where there would have been a visible laser cutting through the atmosphere. Who knows what the implications of that, societal implications of that, is going to be across the board.
So things were exploding on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
But the moon didn't explode.
The moon itself
is still there. You know.
Okay.
But like so essentially like every corridor in the station exploded, more or less.
Okay.
But I
So
thoroughly appreciate the extra effort you guys went into to make sure the laser wasn't going to turn on again, for sure. We had it covered, don't worry, but I'm glad you guys were doubling down.
Yeah, you crippled 2 of the 3 systems that we had thought of.
I only
the first one was too
one.
easy, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of them were meant to be too difficult.
We, however, did not expect you to fly your eye over there and cast a tech power through it.
You winked at it.
Cast a level 0 tech power through it.
Right. Any lore or mechanical questions on that side? Feel free to ask. We can always tell you no, but I have a question for your fear if he has any plans for his shiny swords. Generally.
Yeah, he's got to kill 2 of his former partners. So.
All right.
Not out of the woods yet.
I can't believe you're going to trap my soul in your sword forever instead of just killing me normally.
Well, they said I couldn't kill someone with a harpoon hand, okay? Did you want to spend 45 minutes going over the word?
Just slowly gouging him to death with the harpoon.
I can't attack with Rajkar because it's a sword breaker. I can't attack with it. So I'm just gonna I was gonna carry you in my sword.
It's kind of cute.
Until I spent it, and then your soul would be gone forever. So there's a charge. So
Yep.
Elora, it was absolutely not even remotely useful, seeing as you got it after the fight was over. But would you like to share what boon you got as you put the tiara on?
I know, I was like waiting for the perfect moment, but then there was no perfect moment. I got, it's okay, Aspect of Aurora. As a free action on your turn, you can activate the Aspect of Aurora. While it is active, using metamagic abilities does not consume sorcery points. You are under the effects of Twilight Sanctuary, and you are immune to the charmed and frightened conditions. The aspect lasts for 3 rounds until you decide to end it on your turn, or until you are knocked unconscious.
Oh, that's cool.
That's sweet.
It's
really
God
cool.
mode for
That's
3
really
turns. She goes berserk.
Twilight Sanctuary, dang.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, veterans of Elatar know how busted that is.
That, and I'm so confident that we are going to have to write stipulations for the busted ways that infinite metamagic can be used.
I'm sure.
We'll figure it out.
I'm curious that why the moon goddess gave Elora a boon when we were trying to foil her plan.
That's a good question.
That was a good question.
Maybe they mistranslated the Bible that she wrote. Heretics, heretical document. This was like the Chris Tomlin version. There we got
My gosh.
really terrible theology.
Well, I don't think we can talk about all of the specifics necessarily, but you do know that at least some of the information that Thalira was receiving, or I guess the Lunar Enclave in general was receiving, seemed to be manufactured, right? It wasn't coming from the source they thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to a 32 tech check, you know the source of it. Iggy knew it last game,
He did.
but he couldn't. He killed himself before he had a chance to say it out loud.
Yeah, that information was gonna die until you rolled a nat 20 on that.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess in general, any questions about the Lunar Enclave specifically, or this whole plot, I think I'd feel relatively comfortable discussing the details of, if there was anything less clear on that.
I have one. We know the Lunar Enclave was the reason why we crash landed. Did they just need parts for their ship?
Yeah, so you read in Thalira's revelation, right? The Lunar Enclave members were under the impression that there was some sort of holy heavenly war happening up there, and the moon goddess was knocking demons out of heaven, and with them came holy weapons and holy equipment and holy tools and whatever else. So they were looting things that they may not have fully understood what they were, but eventually, came to use them. I guess the more important question would be, how do these bunch of people who don't know how to use any technology particularly know, A, how to figure out how to send a signal off planet, and B, how to know to send specifically a bosonic charge activation code at exactly the right time to rip your ship out of orbit.
That is oddly specific.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's an answer to that question, and I'm sure you're not going to give it to us.
I can't. I mean, I feel comfortable saying at least that the company that developed that virus is solely responsible for the development of telecommunications technology in the Alsham Union. They would have the tech and know-how to be able to do stuff like that.
Although, to the knowledge of anyone in space, no one has the technology to send signals through the Omnesian zone.
Correct.
Are you saying that the let's see if I can remember the name of this thing, the Leibniz group or whatever, is a fringe of Beacon?
Leibniz group? I'm not talking about Leibniz group at all.
They were the people. They were the group that we were abusing, hacking in our episode 0.
So Caleb is referring to the virus that was uploaded to the Alsham Lance to control it.
That was developed by Beacon.
What does Beacon gain from a ship leaving Amnesia? Just a ton of Omnite? I don't know. That seems...
A ship leaving
just a ton
Amnesia.
of the most valuable resource in the system.
A ship leaving Amnesia would have not been the primary news event that would have occurred had you guys not gone up there. We would have had the sequel to the Maw. And a whole lot more Omnite in the atmosphere, at the very least.
Oh, where's the map?
The map
of the Omnesian system.
Hold on, I got you.
What are you looking for on the map?
If the Omnesian zone expanded, would have it engulfed several of the opposing factions' planets?
Oh, interesting. That image is not to scale.
It's not to scale.
Okay.
They were trying to finish the job they started, you know? Couldn't get in, so they had to find people that could get out. Also, in regards to why your ship got sucked down specifically, yes, you did have equipment on there that was interesting and helpful, being, you know, what already was mentioned before, your node, as well as Naka's Pharaoh Blade would have been interesting and helpful.
And Iggy's Pharaoh system.
The Pharaoh system. They wouldn't necessarily have known about your mini bosonic charge, since that was pretty off the record. However, if you remember correctly, I don't think this detail has been brought up since, but your ship was not the only one that was brought down in that explosion. You remember what the other one was holding?
Many bosonic charges.
Lots of useful tools.
What happened with that guy? Did that guy crash land?
Who never ran into him? It's a big planet.
On the size of
we went around the whole freaking thing.
On the topic of the size of the planet, we completely messed up our scale of how long it takes to walk across things.
Yes.
We were intending the continent to be like at least the size of the US. Based on how long it took you guys to travel it was more like the size of Michigan.
I knew it. Flat Earth.
So going forward, it's gonna be a lot bigger.
I mean, it could also just be that there are other continents on Amnesia, and we only know about one.
Would be
the next expansion. It's like, oh, we discovered another continent. It's very World of Warcraft.
When we were flying back,
people.
When we were flying back on our rocket ship, we saw, oh, what's that other patch of green?
They have green Omnite there.
Colored Omnite was a mechanic we discussed for a while.
Pretty early on, but yeah.
It'd be good at different things. Remember all the professions? That whole
my gosh,
business that we were gonna do.
I'm so glad we didn't go down that messy line of work.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Any other questions? My dad is asking if the next campaign will be 3 months like this one. Yeah. I do think we can confidently say that the next campaign is going to be shorter and smaller
also,
in scope.
Yep, smaller in scope.
Also is being co-written by Grant. He will be helping put the campaign together.
That's great.
So
Cool.
we'll
So if it's bad, you can blame him.
Yep.
Nice.
Will Grant DM? No, Grant will not be DMing.
No.
You'll just have to wait and see.
Yep.
Grant does not
I'll
want
be
to
present.
He explicitly told us he wants to help write. He does not want to DM.
I suppose on that topic, is anyone interested in at some point in the future trying to tell a story in the world of Amnesia as a DM? I mean, it might be a little early to be asking this, but
That's fine.
cool. We're forever DMs. Got it.
I prefer it. He's asking when will it start. I don't know. It's probably going to be a couple months. It takes time.
Yeah.
And then everybody's going to make
In the
their
future.
characters and blah, 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 blah. And I want a break. I think everybody needs a little break. All right.
However, I think we can safely say the next campaign will be in space somewhere. We gave you a very broad overview of Amnesia itself. Now we want to give you a view of some of the space civilizations. And like Caleb said before, definitely smaller in scope.
Yeah.
And
Also-
less epic.
Could not be less related. What the frick was that thunder at the exact moment that Ember used that wish? What the frick was that?
Phenomenal.
That
It's pretty
shook
clear.
my house.
That's
That was also
amazing.
the only. There was no thunder before, and there was no thunder after. That was the only strike of thunder. That was crazy. I want to like watch back the VOD to see how much that came through.
Oh, it came through.
It came through.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, definitely.
really
It
loud.
like rattled. That was crazy.
God didn't like that we were using another god to bring.
Ember, you prayed to Doctrina.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
definitely repent tonight, Ember. I'll be honest.
I'll be honest.
okay.
Be honest. Remind God this was just a game. We
It's
didn't
just a
really mean
game.
it. We just. Please keep my jewel-filled crown in heaven.
My mansion. Don't break it down.
don't burn my mansion down, please.
I'm curious how Vidar's gonna get along at the academy. See what kind of nonsense you can get up to there. It's gonna be interesting.
That'll be fun.
Why do you keep AIing dead rhinos?
I'm just having fun.
It's incredible.
What are you using
I don't know.
to do that?
Stable diffusion.
I was gonna say,
Gotcha.
Nice.
yeah, 'cause Mid-Journey will kick that.
Poor
butt.
rhino.
I have one more question that is very broad. Does anyone have like a favorite moment from the campaign?
I was thinking about this today, actually. When we were having our Christmas episode, and I was supposed to be invisible in the streets of Valcouli, and Blackthorn looked at me, Caleb looked at me, and like acknowledged that he could see me. My stomach dropped to the floor. I had never been so scared during D&D in my whole life. So that was probably my favorite because I almost pooped my pants.
That's cool.
That's really funny. I never would have thought about that.
I think Grant's monologue in the tent, or no, outside of the tent when he was talking to his bosonic charge is 100% probably the most like iconic memory I have of the campaign.
Yeah, that coupled with then the whole conversation in the tent, that's definitely in the running for my favorite moments. Especially since Caleb and I had nothing to do with any of that. That was 100% you guys.
I was very thankful. I was very thankful for how the two of you handled that, Jonathan and Trevor. I was very, very happy after the fact.
What was that episode? I
struggled. I was struggling leading up to that.
Yeah, I remember.
We couldn't tell.
Nick wants to play as a rhino in the next campaign.
Oh my God.
Is this Star Swirl's fatter cousin?
Oh my gosh. I feel it's a very generic answer, but my favorite episode or my favorite moment will be the moment everybody realized that Sai was actually dying in episode 1 because she went first.
Oh my god.
All of a sudden it clicked what was about to happen to everybody, and it was just dread for the rest of the episode. That one episode was years in the making, so to finally have that, I remember my body feeling like it was on fire the whole episode, just because here it is, it's happening, it's
much
working, it's working, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's alright, I can make that joke. I'm going to kill her. It's fine.
It's fair.
Yeah, episode 1 will always be episode 1. It'll always be a...
Never forget it.
Never forget.
Never
just
ever.
Like 9/11.
Never forget. Episode 1.
It's like episode 1, 9/11. You know, and what is pure sadness.
So episode 1 or episode 0 was my first time ever playing. So that, going from that to actual episode 1, I was like, this is so fun. We're gonna laugh for 3 hours. It's gonna be great. And then I was like, this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
I remember the amount of conversations for Steph, you specifically, of people we had all around you to be like, all right, she's about to have a really bad day, so just emotionally support. Everybody's got to know.
So I did not know that you had contacted most of my emotional support network and were like, hello, this is going to be a bad night for Steph, just so you know. I had so many people text me that night and be like, hi, just checking in. You okay?
That's really funny.
Yep,
that's really funny.
That's great. That's great.
It's a good one.
Talking about favorite moments, I don't know that I have one specific favorite moment, but I love the just our collection of half episodes where all of us just sit and talk about the lore and put our red strings between things, and that just gets me going. And the fact that we were able to do that half a dozen times throughout this campaign, I love that.
Yeah, it's a good when we can't get to a full episode, it's a really good use of our of that time, and it's super fun on this side of the screen too, listening to all you be wrong for 3 hours. I'll never get enough of it.
With the occasional correct guess.
All right. Well, I think we're good to leave it off there. we will make it known when the next campaign is getting ready to start.
Is there a title yet? Can we have the title?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Not yet. Also, if you have managed to abstain from reading any other articles for the entirety of the campaign, feel free to go crazy now. You'll probably know a lot of it at this point, to be honest, but I'm
still not going to. I'm only going to read the articles that are necessary to help write the next campaign.
Specific characters and
Yep.
Fair enough.
I still haven't watched the Celestials episode 0.
Same.
I want to go back.
I haven't watched the Terrestrial episode 0.
It would be, y'all should watch those. Those are excellent episodes.
Back when we were all innocent and happy.
Mm-hmm. Everything was
about being happy.
Your fear was pretty miserable then too.
Yeah.
And I was happy episode 1. It was a great time. You guys were all crying. I was just smiling the whole time.
Yep. Thanks for giving us such an easy piece of drama for the entire campaign, Aaron. That was just handed to us that on a platter.
No kidding.
That wasn't originally supposed to be the main driving force of the campaign.
You did take it a little far by getting cancer. All right. So next time,
don't do that.
we can keep it in the game. All right. It's good to have some separation.
Yes.
Nick says
method acting.
Does that mean anytime we encounter Arnos, one of us has to get cancer?
I hope not.
All right, good.
Which I don't know if Trevor and Miranda, everyone else does. My stand came back clear. They weren't able to detect any more cancer in the stand. I still have to finish treatment,
awesome.
but yes, came back clear last week.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Aaron got his flower in real life.
Love it.
No thunder though.
No thunder. Well, the thunder was in real life. It was
That's
here.
True, yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right. I think we could leave it off on that. The trailer for one more time, for all time's sakes.
And a bumper video.
See y'all later.
No bumper video.
No bumper video. Sorry. Hold the wall. See y'all next time.
233.